Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. 400 Arkansas farmers abandoned their own harvest to pack a church, their faces described as nothing but fear. Kenneth Graves says, "I have never seen this kind of look in farmers' eyes." He lays out the impossible math. Break-even yields of 100 bushels of soybeans, 300 bushels of rice, and 300 bushels of corn. Actual yields barely crack half, and even record crops cannot outrun $1.075 billion in looming losses, plunging up to 40% of growers toward bankruptcy. Banker Paul McAnally warns the lifeline vanishes by February. Jill Beck names 5 farmer suicides in just 14 months. Chris King pleads to Mr. Trump, "I need to see the fruit of your love." If a third of Arkansas farmers disappear, what happens to these communities? And can anyone stop this collapse before it is too late? Trucks line the gravel shoulder for half a mile, engines cooling, while combines sit idle in the fields. Inside Woods Chapel Baptist, every pew is full. It is standing room only. Farmers pressed shoulder to shoulder, boots caked with mud from fields they should be harvesting. The air is heavy, voices low, the mood closer to a wake than a meeting. Adam Chappell scans the crowd and shakes his head. He mutters that it is like a funeral in here. No one laughs. More than 400 people have come, some driving hours, all abandoning their own harvests in the middle of the season. Staffers from Senators Cotton and Boozman, Representative Crawford, and Governor Sanders' office stand against the back wall, notebooks in hand, visibly stunned by the turnout. They had expected a handful. Instead, the church overflows. Farmers, spouses, adult children, even a few teenagers, all with the same hollow look. Kenneth Graves, a veteran of farm crises past, takes the microphone. He does not bother with platitudes. He says he has never seen this kind of look in farmers' eyes. It is fear. And it is not just feelings, it is facts. In a nutshell, we are going over a cliff. Heads nod. For many, this is the first time saying aloud what has been gnawing at them for months. The numbers do not add up. The land will not give what is needed. No one here can remember a harder year, not even those who survived the 1980s. Outside, the parking lot fills with dust as more trucks arrive. Inside, the silence is broken only by the scrape of boots and the occasional cough. For a moment, no one speaks. Every person in the room knows what is at stake. There is no plan B. The sense of desperation clings to the walls, setting the stage for the impossible math and the hard truths that follow. Kenneth Graves stands at the front, hands gripping the pulpit, eyes scanning the faces of men and women who already know what he's about to say. No one needs a pep talk. They need answers, and all he can offer is arithmetic. Let's talk numbers. To break even this year, you would need 100 bushels of soybeans, 300 bushels of rice, 300 bushels of corn. That is what it takes to cover your costs: seed, fertilizer, diesel, land notes. He pauses as the crowd absorbs the math. University of Arkansas data confirms it. The state average is 56 bushels for soybeans, 166 for rice, 175 for corn. The gap is not a crack, it is a canyon. Mathematically impossible, Graves says, his voice flat. Even if you hit a record, you're still underwater. He flips open a battered ledger, running his finger down the columns. I farmed through the 1980s. That was bad. This is worse. Back then, we had high interest and low prices, but at least you could hope for a turnaround. Now, the numbers do not lie. The room is silent except for the sound of pens scratching, staffers from Little Rock and Washington scribbling down every word. Graves does not soften the blow. We are not talking about a bad year. We are talking about a cliff. In a nutshell, we are going over a cliff. For every acre planted, the losses pile up. Statewide, banks forecast up to 40% of farms could go under. Chapter 12. Bankruptcies have nearly doubled in a year. 60 auctions since December. Each one a family losing everything. People think if you just work harder, you will make it, Graves says, shaking his head. But you cannot outwork impossible math. No one argues. The mood is heavy with the knowledge that even a perfect harvest will not save them. The land itself, for the first time in generations, cannot provide enough. Graves closes his ledger. This is not just a bad run. This is the end of the line for a lot of us. Brad Chappell stands, holding up a printout from the USDA. The colored bars climb upward, painting a picture of farm income on the rise. He shakes his head and says these graphs are bullshit. They bake in cattle, government payments, all kinds of stuff that do not touch row crop. Meanwhile, monopolies get the money. You watch. When beans go to $15, seed jumps to $90 a bag. Potash is pushing $1,000 a ton. The numbers are rigged. The crowd murmurs. Most know these prices by heart. 4 companies, Corteva, Bayer, Syngenta, and BASF, control nearly 80% of the seed and fertilizer market. When input prices spike, there is nowhere else to turn. A bag of seed, a load of potash, a barrel of glyphosate. Every cost is dictated from above. Farmers are price takers, not price makers, and every year the squeeze gets tighter. Then came the flood. In early April, more than 12 inches of rain fell in less than a week. The Cache, Black, and White rivers spilled out, submerging 31% of Arkansas's planted acres. Over 260,000 acres drowned. Estimates from the University of Arkansas put the damage at nearly $79 million, with another $42 million just to replant. Crop insurance covered less than a quarter of the loss. Some fields sat underwater for 25 days, and for many there was no replanting at all. One farmer managed to plant only 330 out of his usual 2,200 acres. The rest was written off. Paul McAnally, a banker from Truman, does not mince words. There is no workable budget this year. Not in 25 years has he seen anything like it. Southern Bancorp projects $1.075 billion in net losses for 2025. He warns that without a financial bridge by February 1st, a quarter, maybe a third, of Arkansas farms will not make it to spring. The deadline is not just a date on the calendar. It is the point where lenders close the books, where operating loans vanish, and fields go unplanted. Every factor, monopoly pricing, catastrophic flood, and the bank's ultimatum tightens the vice. The math is impossible. The clock is ticking, and the lifeline must come now, or not at all. Jill Beck stands at the edge of the pews, her voice brittle. 5 of my customers have taken their own lives in the last 14 months. The room does not move. She is an equipment financier, and the weight in her words is heavier than any ledger. They were isolated. The debt, the pressure, it just swallowed them. No one asks for names. The silence is answer enough. Court records show the reality behind her testimony. Chapter 12. Farm bankruptcies in Arkansas have jumped from 45 to 88 in a single year. Since last December, over 60 farm auctions have emptied family homesteads, tractors, seeders, even kitchen tables sold off to cover loans that cannot be paid. The numbers on the ground match the faces in the pews. National tractor sales are down 13%, and combine sales are down 48%. In some towns, rural businesses have lost 3/4 of their income. The collapse does not announce itself with headlines. It seeps in quietly, one silent exit at a time. Young farmers are walking away. selling off equipment, taking jobs in town. Generations of knowledge, gone without a word. Chris King, 40 years on the land, stands to speak. Mr. Trump, you looked at me and said I love you. Well, I need to see the fruit of your love. Without help, a third of us will not be here by spring. My kids and grandkids are watching this die. The numbers are a drumbeat. 5 suicides. Bankruptcies have nearly doubled. 60 auctions. Equipment sales are in free fall. For every farm lost, the community unravels a little more. The federal response so far is a band-aid over a bullet hole, with delayed payments, capped assistance, and promises that will not keep the lights on through planting. The plea from the floor is clear. Bridge funding now, expedited targeted payments, and a federal investigation into monopoly control. Without these, Arkansas's farm country faces a disappearance, not a recovery. Tonight, Arkansas farmers face what Kenneth Graves calls impossible math. Break-even yields of 100, 300, 300 that no field delivers. Jill Beck says 5 suicides in 14 months. Paul McAnally warns, we're going over a cliff. This isn't a cycle. It's collapse. The clock is running out.